Одоо манай дараагийн илтгэгч минь манай хамтран ажиллагч хатагтай Г.Уянга.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and representatives, dear friends, first of all I would like to deliver my sincere greetings to you. How to ensure an effective parliament control is the point of my speech to be delivered from this honorable rostrum. The parliament is elected by the public. Though we have elected a parliament by a majority opinion, it's required to take the double control over it. It's one of the most rightful forms to improve the governance and eliminate erroneous parts of the democratic governance. Mongolia's parliament has also these control methods and mechanisms being used worldwide. Open hearings were organized at the parliament level, but not regularly. Analogous mechanisms are used as well. The civil chamber under the president organizes such kind of discussions and hearings permanently. Currently, the branches of the chamber are established in every district, each IMAX and SOMS. Mongolian parliament was never lacking of voting on issues, whether to give trust the head of the government and other ministers. One of the inseparable parts of our parliament's activities is questioning and inquiry for the members of the government. The law on the state grid hurald gives an opportunity to create temporary committees on certain issues. They study these issues deeply and intensify them more. Such committees were organized by each parliament. Now the temporary committee to study in details the mining licenses and other issues around the mining will be created soon. Structure for monitoring the budget expenditure was established inside and outside of the parliament. As far as you know, besides these mechanisms, about 1,000 mass media means over 700 non-governmental and civil society organizations run their regular activities in Mongolia. Judging from this picture, all these achievements of Mongolian democracy and controlled parliament are desirable for the foreign countries. Unfortunately, these monitoring facilities are not enough for the parliamentary oversight and can't to yield. Perhaps we are needed to create additionally other puzzle structure so as to improve our current monitoring network or to take double control over the proper operation of the above structures. Already 23 years have been passed and we have not finished yet laying the bricks of democracy. If we imagine the democratic society as a person and see its figure and appearance, we have created human-like thing, having the legs and hands, eyes and mouth, as well as heart and lungs. But this thing has been failed to come to life for past 23 years. At first sight, we are likely to create a good democracy and quite good parliament. However, now we are lacking of content and outcomes. Mongolian people are thoroughly fed up with formalism of democracy. They wish to have powerful government capable to discuss and resolve any matter comprehensively, thus achieve a definitive result. Just recently, Mongolia was considered worldwide as a good example for new or restored democracy. However, the political, economical, and social processes in Mongolia demonstrate the objective situation in reverse. I think any requirement and possibility to make smart, the reality and tendencies have finished. Introduction of difficult, complicated, multi-staged, indirect and heavy system instead of simple, easy, humanitarian and direct system into Mongolian society leads the nation's system to the complete destruction. On establishing the anti-corruption agency, this evil of the society is not eliminated, even more is not decreased. Though we have founded the National Human Rights Commission, it couldn't to ensure human rights guarantee. Furthermore, our democratic constitution itself can't be the guarantee for human rights and democracy. I think that these objective complications caused suffering on Mongolian democracy are not possible to be distracted by saying as if it's temporary occurrence anywhere, or there's a lot of countries with difficult situation more than yours. Is it necessary to resolve any matter endangering the democracy on the verge of war and crush? No such incidents as war, civil mutiny, religious and tribal confrontations, coup d'etat, armed clash, and revolution in our country. But it does not mean that the democracy is successful. Maybe it's not permissible to say that democracy is successful when any country and any nation is slowly sliding into destruction. Financial Action Task Force included Mongolia in a grey list of the countries which may cause risks in the international financial system. They will include us in blacklist soon. Mongolia leads in the world with human trafficking, opium, and network of organized crime and corruption, unfamiliar words for Mongolians recently. Destruction in the Mongolian democracy was clearly evidenced by the terrible crime occurred on July 1, 2008. At that time, a bloody confrontation was triggered by the ruling groups who captured the state power by cheating of voting results and tried to suppress this crafty act. This action attracted formally the international attention, and everybody just only expressed their regret. Then, after 2 years, or on November 1, 2008, the United Nations Committee Against Torture issued its recommendation. It's regretful that police resorted to use not necessary amount of force during emergency situation, and the demonstration held at the Sukhpatar Square during July 1, 2008 event. Committee concerns that most of this needless amount of force has been used when emergency situation was announced. Research conducted by the Human Rights National Commission was also not satisfactory. Recommendation concludes. The National Human Rights Commission of Mongolia, in its research study, made the conclusion that human rights were not violated during July 1st event. But the United Nations Committee Against Torture expressed dissatisfaction upon this and recommended to provide the Human Rights National Commission of Mongolia with all necessary manpower, money, and material assistance to conduct the activity. The High Commissioner comes to Mongolia to set up an organization, an agency to fight corruption, and the Human Rights National Commission, but fails to come to identify how many people have been shot and killed. The whole world greeted and praised us when capital punishment has been abolished in Mongolia, but when citizens have been shot and killed, imprisoned in hundreds, they said, it's the internal matter of Mongolia, and expressed regret. I really did not understand this. Some dual standard is serving here. Supervision and control of the democratic system in whole, I think, becomes an urgent issue rather than of the state and government agencies or of those who are in power. The international organizations pay more attention to forming the shape of the democratic institution in Mongolia, supporting viewpoint and financially, paying less attention to its content, quality, and influence. I would like to say that the result of the Mongolian democracy experienced serious distortion. Failures of Mongolian democracy teach us the following lessons. First, new and newly emerging democracies have to seriously consider their national specifics and correct difficulties and problems in due time, explain and make other nations to understand, otherwise it would be too late and more mistakes and errors will be accumulated. Second, it's true that outgoing force creates obstacles and problems to democracy. Nevertheless, I would like to say that unprincipled and immoral position of the Democratic Party and enforcement leaders who committed wrongdoings under the name of democracy inflict more serious harm and damage. Third, For example, rate of corruption never been in Mongolia at time of socialist and communist leadership flourished at time of democratic leaders. The communist leaders never saved their secret properties abroad. It's impossible to camouflage this fact, which is open and transparent before the people, by any democratic theory. Democracy, we were dreaming, changed the face. Today we face the demand to make a new definition for the democracy. I'm not talking about turning back from the democracy and market economy we have chosen once. I'm talking to reconsider about our mistakes and gains, about making democracy more perfect. Great ideological confrontation of the 20th century ended. The world community is striving towards bright and stable future. If Mongolian democracy will collapse, this undoubtedly will be a serious blow to the world democracy. I believe a helping hand will be stretched to save the young Mongolian democracy. The solution of any chosen topic in the final round deals with this question. Thank you for your attention.